to me when you're done. Plan to start a family with someone. Am I an option or for fun? Baby, tell me now before I run. What about us? What about us? What about us? What about us? Every time I try to talk about the situation, my words fall on deaf ears with more confusion. You know that I can treat you better, and all of these years I've wasted. You always come running back over and over and over again. We don't have to fight, let's make it right. Baby, tell me now before I run. What about us? What about us? What about us? What about us?
Oh.
Yay!
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Oh, today we got just a healthy smorgasbord here. We're gonna talk first. We're gonna talk shop first. We've added so much content in like the past. I don't know. It feels like a long time, but it's very short. Past 2 weeks, we've just added so much new content to our channel. We're gonna go through that, and then we're gonna slide right into talking about how to present your stuff, make it look pretty. Put it on display, put your hard work out for everybody to see, and then in the second half of the hour, we're gonna get a little crazy. I got a couple budget ideas and some wild theories that we're gonna test out. So that's what we got going on today.
Cool.
Don't shake your head at me, Nick. I saw that in my peripheral.
Oh, it sounds like a good time.
I mean, I like to ball on a budget. That's what I like to do. But yeah, no. Hey, Brandon. So I've been looking at our channel, and you have been putting in a lot of hard work, and we appreciate that. Why don't you tell us, like, what are some new show ideas that we got going on?
So to kind of cover the whole spectrum of the hobby and a little bit of what the team is, we have kind of a competitive-ish show called Competitive Corner. We talk about lists, how to prepare for tournaments. what to expect when you go to tournaments. We've had Eric on to talk about the Adepticon lists and like what he thinks about the missions for Adepticon and what that means for what you should bring, and what to expect from other people when you go to those. We also talk. We have another show called The Lore Linguist, which is the copyrighted from our own Frostbite, who gave me the name a couple days ago. That will pull a weekly, I don't know, couple hours or 1 or 2 hours to talk about lore topic from kind of beginning to end, gloss over, and maybe in future weeks we'll get a in-depth view. We've touched on Eldar, the old ones, Necrons, and Orcs so far, but future topics we're always pulling them from chat or from comments, or you could email us at our email too if you have something you want us to talk about. And then, as always, the biggest show on Twitch for us right now is Hobby Time, which you guys know because you're watching right now.
Hey, so about the competitive corner, I think I caught it the other day. That's on Mondays, correct?
It is on Mondays. So it is on Mondays, and we may be switching the topics up a little bit. Competitive corner may be going every other week with me and every other week with Dan. And Dan may be doing that on Wednesdays. You could catch, we'll be updating the schedule on a week-by-week basis, so it'll be always up to date. On Sunday, you could tell what the whole next week's worth of content's going to be.
So, you guys use Battle Scribe and like bring it all. I think I saw little snippets of that. Is that correct?
Yes, we do use Battle Scribe.
Cool.
So there's
you put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So you'll see. Everyone will see. Cool. We actually had one where we kind of interacted with chat for the last hour, and we picked ideas, or we had people that were interested in building certain types of lists for upcoming tournaments, and we threw it up there and we just talked it out with chat. So it's a very interactive show. It's a lot of fun if you want to come out and hang out with that.
To be honest, I was having this is the first time in a long time that I used the Battle Scribe for the PC, because they overhauled it and massively updated it. And
I only started using it because of the tabletop simulator, and I almost had to relearn how to use Battle Scribe because it's so different.
It's different, but it's intuitive. And actually, when I was watching one of the videos that you guys did, there was a certain glitch in mine that I couldn't get through, and something you did, I don't even remember what it was, but I was almost ghosting you. Like it was like when you say it's interactive, it's very interactive. Pull up the Battle Scribe, and you get to we're basically teaching everyone how to use it, in live time, which is cool. It's better than it's cooler than watching like a YouTube tutorial, because you can actually interact over the chat, right?
Yeah. And if you like, we'll even talk about it. There was one spot in the Eldar one where some people in chat were adamant about the tanks, the laser crystal tanks, being the best thing since sliced bread, and I had to whip out the math on them to prove them all wrong. I math hammered real hard. I actually'd a little bit with some people, and I think we all came out smarter for the end of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then like, so the lore. What day is the lore on? What day is that?
Fridays is Lore Linguists. That is probably going to stay on Fridays at its time slot with me for the foreseeable future. But again, we update our schedule every week, and we could figure that out. That's 4:30 to 6:30. It's also an interactive show. So even though the beginning starts a little bit like me in front of a fire on a bearskin rug with a pipe talking about some lore, it does devolve into talking with chat and messing around and looking at different aspects of the 40K lore, maybe some loopholes, maybe where people want to see stuff go in the future. It's a fun time too.
So it's like I don't know how, maybe you guys are, we're all the same age roughly. It's like Team Bad Decisions version of you remember TGIF, where the NBC would put all those cool shows on. That's our version of TGIF. We get in, we no competitive talk. We just talk. It's story time. We talk about what we enjoy, right down to Kenny. I'm sure would love to talk for hours on a specific Catachan
Hours.
regiment that took on a Necron awakening force on some random planet XVR 19. I'm sure like that's the depth we're talking about. We're not we don't we're not just doing an overview every Friday, right?
Yeah, yes,
Right.
100%. And
Cool.
it's definitely the biggest hitter on our YouTube channel. The Lore Time, it gets an order of magnitude more viewers on YouTube than even Hobby
Right.
Time, which is our biggest show on Twitch.
So cool, yeah. So it's a constructive conversation where people can get together. It's like a community hub where we can all talk about what we love.
Yeah, very much so.
Beautiful. Okay. And then of course we got our hobby time, which is where we talk about how to do this wonderful hobby with saving a little money, sharing techniques, and learning from each other, right?
Yeah. Hobby Time, I as far as I know, will always stay on, or for the foreseeable future, Saturdays, normally at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we've moved to 4:30 to accommodate some people, but normally you can catch us on 1, and it'll be on the schedule. So feel free to see the schedule below. The schedule is also available on our the panels in Twitch and on our website with teambaddecisions.com.
Oh, nice, cool. And is the website fully operational right now?
Yep, merch store is running. All of the commands that you can do in chat right now to interact with us are listed on the website, and
Cool.
Our new emote is, it's still kind of in the works, but it is working in its rudimentary form for any of the subscribers out there that want to throw some dice around.
Oh, that's sweet. So we have something like that they can use that as a suggestion box for any kind of content they want to see in the future, right?
Yes. So there's a suggestion box built into the website, and also people are feel free to email us directly at theteambaddecisions@gmail.com. Checking that every so often. We have had a couple people throw suggestions in that way as well. Also, I'm watching the comment section on our YouTube videos, and you can touch base with any of us live here when we're live.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So, all right. Do you guys want to jump in to the pool?
Yeah, let's get dirty.
All right. Oh, okay then. You got your wingies on, right? Yeah, we don't want Brando to drown.
Oh yeah. I'm a
little guy. We're gonna get in the deep end. Yeah. I mean, there's things that live in the water, the kraken. Anyways, yeah. So next section, what we're gonna talk about here is display boards, and we got one of our master displayists. Is that a word? Displayists? Artists?
I mean, it is now.
Yeah, it is now.
Copyright while you can.
What up? Yeah. So Nick, tell us about the importance of displays, because you take it to a whole new level.
So displays are always, so they're usually like 5 points out of like 50. So they're point wise, they're not normally a big like on the paper point getter.
Sure.
But you can really bring an army together. You can get people to look at your army. You can highlight certain pieces of that army. Way better if you build the display to match. Now, Marcus has always been our converter, and I always have to plan for models that are sometimes 15 and a half inches tall. So,
That's huge.
And when he lived in Georgia, I didn't always know which those models were. Yeah, that's all the way up to the top of there was a Corn Bloodthirster one year that I had that, and we had a Magnus that stood 13 inches tall. So
solo coat, it's about
three of those,
4.5 inches. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty big. So also there are some events, there are theme points that are available too. And without the right display, you can't really illustrate that theme as well. So, we like to tell a story with our display. Now, sometimes it gets a little overrunning, so so there's so many models, it's hard to see the story, but I think it definitely draws people in. Now, I've personally kind of developed my own style, if you will. I like the reveal, so
Okay.
I like to put my displays inside of something. So the one that most people know about is the coffin. You can pull the coffin in, you open the lid, and you see the display inside. I remember the first year we did that. Well, sorry, the first year I actually did something like that at Adepticon was a Ark of the Covenant. Now that thing was such a bear to take apart and put back together.
Yeah,
The reveal wasn't as cool, but it sat in the we sat in the tournament hall with it closed, and we got so many comments and so much interest in that when we actually opened it up, people were standing in line to see the models because they're like they got to see what's inside of that.
Nick,
Right,
So-
absolutely.
can you move your mic a little
So
closer?
the next year we built on me.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next
you.
year we built on that. The reveal had to be simpler. So the next year was our corn year. And I have that display sitting next to me if you want me to show it.
Yeah, just
It's-
drag it over.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna flip my camera. It's easier to do. So, right there is the corn display. So,
Wow.
at the top, you'll see the empty throne. That's where corn's at. And at the time, there were two giant bloodthirsters and a demon prince, or the demon prince was trying to ascend, so they were fighting each other in front of corn, or fighting all of them in front of corn. And you see in the background, there's a Imperial Guardsman coming in through the portal, and it's a drain. So the drain, if you can see the drain, drains down underneath and through those pipes in the back, and you'll see some blood, and then all the way down to that waterfall. And so that kind of ties it together. And then down below this is all of these. Each one of those blocks is about 1,000 skulls.
Holy cow! And did you do each one of those individually?
No, I worked with a company called Secret Weapon,
Okay.
and they helped resin cast. So we made the original. Actually, a good friend of ours helped me make the original. His name is Travis. And once we got the original made, Justin over at Secret Weapon was really awesome to work with. I sent an email out in hopes, because it was their skulls that we were using,
Sure.
and I was hoping that maybe we'd hear something, because it's a fairly big company.
Yeah.
And that guy, he was so responsive, and like I was like, hey, we got this idea, and he was so like back and forth, and I think he got excited about it too,
Sure.
that he made it super easy. And so we worked with him a few more years after that. We worked with him through the Zinch year and through the Nurgle year. Zinch year, they got us our bases for our models, and then the Nurgle year they did bases in some of the terrain. So
That's awesome.
so that's corn. And then moving into the Zinch year, we had a sarcophagus. The sides fell down. That year was I know Marcus really liked that year. I liked it because we also work with Powered Play, and they are like a LED company that puts LEDs in models and stuff. So the guy Derek flew up from California and stayed at my house for a couple of days and helped me wire the whole display. And I tell you, the Helldrakes flying through the lightning was amazing. That was really cool. And so then, but that one was 7.5 feet long. So the corn
It's like a canoe.
display, yeah, the corn display is just over 6. And then the next year was 7.5 feet, and then the year after that we did the Nurgle display, which was a morgue. And once that fully deployed, that had about a 12-foot footprint.
How much does that weigh?
I don't know. I know we could still lift it. It wasn't overly heavy. I use a lot of foam in my builds.
Yeah.
The difficulty with that was finding a trailer that we could get inside of. We ended up having to rent a motorcycle trailer.
Okay. Yeah. So can you expand on that, because I really I actually, when I saw the photos of the Nurgle build that you did,
Mhm.
I actually have 6x2 modular panels that I built that are down in the workshop that I don't know where I'm gonna take. You know, I've done the foam board, I've done the torch work, you know, where you melt the foam, but I'm stuck on trenches. And I saw that picture of the Nurgle trench that you made. I think we have a picture of it, and I learned from you. You should.
So every year, I always the other thing I like to do, and this is a personal thing, it's nothing, I like to try to challenge myself to learn a new technique. So
Sure.
last year for Gene Stealer Cult, I did the stained glass. That year for Nurgle, I had never sculpted before, so I used the hydrocal. So what
Okay.
was nice about that build was that I sourced other people, I just to kind of look at ideas. So I look at a lot of stuff on the internet because there's a ton of people
Yeah.
that do really great work. If you stick to just Warhammer stuff, you're not going to find what you need. I tell you, the trained people actually know how to terrain the best. They get this such accurate detail sometimes. It's amazing. We follow this foam modeling group on Facebook, and they make full models out of foam that you would have
Wow.
never guessed were made out of foam. They're amazing. So to learn from those kind of people and looking for new techniques, that's really helped. So with that trench, I bought a bunch of popsicle sticks, and I made sure I found the thin ones, and then I put them in there, and then I started looking at breaks. I started using that's hydrocal to kind of build up the sides so it looked
Now, for our viewers who don't know, what is hydrocal?
Hydrocal is a plaster that I'm surprised more people don't use. It's pretty lightweight, and it dries hard. Like, we were moving it downstairs one time, and Marcus was at the other end, and it slid down and it hit him in the head, and he cut his head open.
Wow.
And the hydrocal wasn't even damaged.
Is it like similar to like Sculptamold, where they take I think it's like a plaster Paris and cellulose insulation that they mix up?
When that dries, though, sometimes it dries a little softer. So like you could push your thumbnail into it, or if you were to drop it on the ground, it would break.
Right.
So that's why I chose the hydrocal, because it's a little more heavy duty.
Okay.
We again, a lot of times when I do the big builds, I've got a plan for transportation as well. So part of the difficulty with that was I didn't want it in the truck or the trailer jarring around and then breaking, so I had to rebuild it when we got there. So I had to find something that was able to withstand that, but not too heavy, so I can actually get it, like we can actually move it. Now that thing was still a bear to move. I mean, we had 6 casters underneath it. It took me and Kenny to push while somebody else steered it. So, you know, you got to be conscious of weight. That's part of the reason we went with foam. If you've seen the morgue, the outside of the morgue looks like it's metal, with its like rusting and stuff, and that's just foam. And we use a lot of different techniques to make it look like metal. I made my own washes, put bolts in it, so it looked like.
How'd you make the washes? Because everybody's got a secret formula, and I want to hear yours.
Mine was really, I went to Lowe's, and so what I always do, so you see the brown inside of my corn display, the gray that's on the Nurgle display, any of those colors, I always go to Lowe's with an idea of what color I want in my head, and I ask for a sample. So you get that big, so for $3, and so you can paint a mass area. So with the washes, I just did that, and then I just threw a lot of water in them, to be honest with you.
Another way that I found to source paint for terrain usage is if you go to the reject section. Home Depot has one and Lowe's has one where they sell samples for 25 cents for like a pint.
Yeah.
And like I've got like probably about 16 downstairs that 25 cents, and it's like maybe an ugly green or an ugly gray, but it's perfect for painting, a hill, that I'm going to put foliage on, or it's perfect for doing like, the outside of a building, that I'm going to do more detail work on. So that's a good tip, because that's.
But with the samples, the reason I do those is because I can get the color gradient. So
Right.
I'll start with a dark. So like the gray for the Nurglier, I had 3 different grays that I used. I
Okay.
used the dark gray, washed it black, and I put that over sand. Washed it black, and then I went. I used that gray again to dry brush it. It was real
Okay.
heavy dry brush, and then a medium dry brush with a medium gray, and then that light gray was such a light dry brush over the top, and that way it kind of brought some of that detail forward.
Okay. Now you keep saying foam. What kind of foam? Because you and I both know there's a lot, but maybe some of our viewers don't know. Can you?
I
Can you
personally
expand?
use the pink foam.
Okay.
Although, again, so being part of some of these modeling groups, I'm definitely going to change my approach to how I do things. So
Sure.
right now, the way I've always done it was try to make the foam that I'm putting in there look like what I want it to look like in the end. So I sent a picture earlier about how I kind of started display, and it was just foam stacked on top of itself, right? And the foam, and then what I do is I would cut that and then take I have ways of filling some of those gaps, and then I would take some of that plaster to kind of reshape some of those things. But the things that I seen in this foam modeling group that I was like really blown away by, and Brandon recognized it first, was what they do is they build the structure with foam, and then they take and they build like the different character pieces separately. And so for instance, if you're doing the roof of a building, they would put the flat roof, right? And then you cut it apart, and then you make each shingle and glue it on, and you can detail each shingle. So it gave a real nice texture, and I would have never guessed. It looked those things look amazing.
They look really well built because they are essentially like each shingle is its own thing.
Yeah, I bet that took forever to do.
Now that picture that Brandon just put up there for our viewers, that started out as just a square of polystyrene insulation pink foam. Can you walk us through just a quick outline of how you turned something that is basically a square, layered it, and then made it look like that?
So again, I have the outside idea built. So the morgue, that was for the morgue. That one took me a little while because I had to conceptualize how to build a morgue that I can move, and I wanted it to pull because what was cool about the morgue is you can open the door and you pull the tray out and unzip the body bag, and that was the display.
Okay.
And so to get to there, and then to have a place where you can put a display, it's really important to get that transition for me at least. And so that's why then I built that piece, that pink foam. I built the base layer.
Okay.
And then I would just draw on top of the base layer to get what I kind of wanted out of it. Now, I always joke that I'm kind of like a big ogre with a hammer. that spot that you're looking at in that pink foam took a few tries to get there. I can't tell you the number of times I've thrown away a project and started over. So the mountains on the chest, I didn't like how it was displaying things. It was too thin at first, and then it took up too much of the board. So I've ripped that thing apart multiple times prior to this, and that's when I started like, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually try plaster. And I was really happy with it. It paints up nice. It looked really good.
What did you use to adhere that? Are you using caulk, glue?
Surprisingly enough, Gorilla Glue is probably the best for structure.
Okay.
It's not been outside of reason that I've used 3-inch screws before.
Okay.
So if you look at like the sarcophagus, in order to get those walls to hang together, and because you don't want to rely on just glue, right? Because if you're moving, eventually it's going to come apart. So you need something there to hold it together. So I would screw in the end and then put foam putty over that and sand it down.
Okay.
So structurally, you always have to think about like, how is this going to stand up? Like, how is this going to stay here? If I jar this, well, it's how I always build things. It's not always pretty, but it definitely can take a hit.
I think
So-
all Warhammer terrain is built to take a hit,
No,
especially from those.
you haven't seen anything I've built. It's the
Oh, yeah.
exact opposite. It looks
really?
it looks
dear.
pretty, but a stiff wind will destroy
Oh,
the whole
boy.
thing I've ever done.
It just doesn't have any resolve.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
So, but like this foam piece, if I were to throw that away, it would stay that way until it got,
Yeah.
it's still sitting in my garage. It's been 2 years. It's a hard
Okay.
rock,
Okay. Okay.
and it's but anyway, so kind of going back to how we got to where we were at, I had to figure out the structure and then add the details after. That's kind of how I approach it.
Okay.
And again, for me, I'm always thinking, how am I going to move this thing? Like, it's nice when I have it sitting here, but because I was in the basement when I built that pink piece there,
Mhm.
I had to get it up my stairs, get it on the morgue, and then get it to Chicago from here, which is about a 3-hour drive in the back of a motorcycle trailer.
Sounds like a good time. Now, now my big curiosity, because the pink foam in this picture is textured. It's textured. Is that heat work, blade work, or like sandpaper, or a mix of both?
Again, ogre with a hammer. That is actually just a wrecking bar, and you scrape it over the top of that,
Okay.
and it pulls up some of that texture.
Okay.
Now, some of those flat parts I left flat on purpose because later I would put sand over top of them, oils, all kinds of different things. You need space to put models, and if
Sure.
they're all doing this, all the models are doing this. So,
Have you ever used a heat gun?
oh yeah,
Okay.
I have one. I'm trying to think what display that was. I think it was one. I know I used a soldering iron on one that we did with Brandon to make like a bark.
Okay.
The heat gun. No, I'm sorry. The heat gun I used to bend the resin plates for the skulls burnt
Okay.
the heck out of my fingers, but I got it to bend. So I've used a heat gun on foam. I prefer there's another technique that I like to use. It's like spray paint that I spray over top, and it kind of pocks.
It eats it. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I have a brand here, right here. I'm gonna grab it one real quick. It's a universal brand, and it eats spray paint like I eat pie, or it eats foam like I eat pie. So you're gonna want to use. It's called Quick Color, and yep, it's 99 cents a can. You can get it just about anywhere.
Yeah.
And
the cheaper
what I
the
do.
better.
Yeah, oh yeah. So what I do is I take like a pocket knife and I cut just lines and like etch marks. And if of course you're gonna do this outside with a rebreather on, safety first. If you hose it down, get real close, it'll just eat it and bleed it out and make it look like veins or whatnot. And then the reason I asked about that heat gun is because what I like to do is I like to cut like almost like a star, and then I'll put it in real close, and I find that heat guns make really good craters.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I've tried numbers of things over the years. The dumbest thing I think I've ever done. It looked great when I was done, but I really wanted this like magma cracked earth look. It was real
Okay.
thick foam, and it was having blood run through it. Corn.
Right.
And so I used a grinder and cut through that with a metal grinder, and that was really dumb because it's really close to your fingers the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, that's not safe.
But it looks fantastic because it looks like it's breaking apart like naturally,
Okay.
and breaking down and eroding the edges because it tears it. It doesn't cut smooth. It doesn't do any of that. It tears it apart, so it looks very natural. And then you take some of those pieces, if they fall off a little bit wrong, you put them in the blood, and it looks like it's flowing again naturally. Now, if I were to do that again, I think I'd use a soldering iron this time.
Okay. Now, all of these boards that you've presented are very pretty. Can we all raise our hands? They're very pretty. Yeah. Can I get a hand raise, Brando? I don't see a hand raise.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
hand raise.
moderating chat. My bad.
Oh, you're good. So very pretty, and not everybody has your skill level. Okay, no, you're good at what you do. What can we say? Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. I think Brandon, I sent you what would be called like the minimalist board. One of our guys, Ryan, submitted it. It's a board that he says he breaks out for local RTTs in his area, so that he just has a way of presenting. And then I have the cheap man's version. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we got. So this is a cheap man's version. It's nothing special. We got your pink foam, and then the bottom is those canvases that you buy from like Meyer, in their arts and crafts section. So it's already wood framed, right? And then plumber's putty. You can get a tub of that for 99 cents and then smear it all over. And then, I don't even think, actually, to be honest, this isn't even pink foam. This is polystyrene that comes, I think this came out of a speaker set.
Nice.
And then I just glued it together with caulk, and then I'll hose it down with spray paint and walk out the door. And then that's a good example. The one that Brando is putting up right now is just a great example of a minimalist style board. It's got a river running through it. That's a movie, right? A river runs through it.
I think so. Yeah.
With Clint Eastwood. I don't know, but yeah, that's it.
I do like that board so that would be like you said, for a local RTT. I do have my version of like the corn board that I have. Okay. I actually, the top of it pulls out of there, and I could set it. I have another display board that it goes with.
Okay. Tip Nick's actually given me that's worked out well, specifically for like local RTTs. Easy stuff to do is at a hobby, either a hobby store or even a Salvation Army. Go get a picture frame. And then you have the nice border of the picture frame that's all stylized and looks nice. And then just fill the inside with foam, caulk, putty, whatever. Sand directly onto the picture frame. Just flock the picture frame if you have to. Or spray it black and then flock the picture frame. And you have a nice stylized border on just a regular rectangle.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's really like good. $3 to get a picture frame. It's huge. 2x3 was my last one. It was like $3. And what I always do is like he said, I paint it black, and then I take the cardboard. It usually has a cardboard backing on there. I glue it in, and then I'll build on there. So I'll put foam and stuff on top of that. So yeah, that's one of my favorite tricks to use for a smaller board.
Okay. Yeah. It
actually came from my wife, believe it or not, because I was fretting because I was like, man, a poster frame is like $40 if you go to like the right place to buy them.
Did she give you that stink eye?
No, she was like, you could just go to Goodwill and buy it for way cheaper. I didn't expect $3, but that worked.
Yeah. Actually, if you guys need supplies, Habitats for Humanities. I don't know. Like, there's one up the street from me that has like just like stuff that they tear out of old houses and stuff. And I've actually scooped up there to get like old fixtures.
You have to be in the right place at the right time for those kind of places.
Yeah.
My experience is sometimes it's still just as expensive as buying new.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
maybe it's just my store.
Question just came in from chat. Tabletop Simulator. Is that, I know it's a side topic right now, but is that any interest in that? Putting content up on the show, like for TTS?
It's fun. It's very fun. The only problem is, it's frustrating, and
Matt, I have a new board, a new table that I think would help with that. So maybe, maybe, because the board itself, it's all buttons to bring everything up.
Okay, cool.
To manually do everything.
Yeah, because like so recently, the two big content creators for that game, for the 40K side, because Tabletop Simulator, you can play with thousands of different games on it. They nuked, like destroyed their own work and put potential malicious software in there. So we've had to have workarounds and all sorts of stuff. But no, overall, that's really fun to do. It's really enjoyable.
What you were saying with Eric, the games took like 5 some hours.
Yeah, we were there for a while, but it's mainly because we didn't know what we were doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say there's a pretty steep learning curve, and it's
Right.
helpful to have somebody walk you through it.
Yeah, and I figured out. I've watched a couple more tutorials, and I think the biggest pet peeve with it is when you're building your army, the system has a maximum highlight count of 64 individual models, because we were having issues with that one night. So you have, if you play hordes like me, you have to create 3 separate files for your army, which is a pain in the butt. But yeah, no, that's definitely something that we could get going, and that could be like just a live drop-in.
So, what do you think's closer? Potential tabletop simulator content or live battle report, like hang out and watch us play live content?
Well, it depends. Tabletop for team bad decisions, for us to communicate. But I got a couple buddies down the street that are itching to go, and we could put it up in the garage out back and grill up some steaks. Yeah. I don't know. It depends. The TTS, what is it? The shorthand is what, TTS, tabletop simulator.
Yeah, just learned that.
That can just be good. That can just go up at any time. Battle reports, face to face. I mean.
Well, even now, like with the social distancing, I've seen some of the battle reports where they have 2 players call in, and then they have like a referee. The referee is just running the board, and then the 2 players are remote, so they'll tell the referee on how to do that. I thought that was a pretty clever idea.
Yeah. No. Probably close to, like, what is it? It's May right now. Like July, I'll probably be where I need to be to do face-to-face in-house matches, and I'm actually homebrewing a narrative campaign where multiple individuals will drop in and out and play, and they're going to be there to kill the orc menace that is taking over the planet. So yeah, that's something that's in the works. And then I've got an apocalypse match that I'm organizing.
Nice.
But, I think that's what I usually do, 2 a year. And I've allocated enough orc points of about 16,500 to put that together. So that's, like I said, everything's in the works. That kind of stuff. But tabletop simulator, if anybody wants to play us or play with us or learn how to do it, that's not a big deal. You just gotta be patient, and we'll walk you through
we'll
it.
try that new board soon.
I
think you'll like it. It'll make life a lot easier. It even like you hit a button and it shows the deployment zones.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's. I mean,
the
the other one did that too, but it was really it didn't like me.
I didn't mean to derail everybody, so please continue.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, do you want to shift into what's in Matt's what's our next section here? I think I labeled it. You're trying to do what with what? So I went out shopping, right? I went out shopping and I got some new tools. Some new tools for painting, and I wanted to share them with you guys. Just some new ideas. Let's go. I'm gonna put it down to the Yeah. Can we see that? Good. Oh my goodness, we almost fell. Okay. All right. So I just recently came. Oh, that's bad. I'm sorry, guys. It just fell. Okay. I just recently came into some towel models. Did a little bit of eBay shopping. Came across some naked towel models. I'm really excited to do, how people do that, like, fancy cross-stitch painting on, like, towel models where they do the fancy camouflage?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm too lazy to do the actual stitching on that. So some ideas that I'm going to explore is I went to the dollar store, and I got a strainer, okay? So that's one of the things I'm going to explore is I'm going to shoot paint through the strainer and see if I can get the pattern to replicate onto the models. Kind of cool, right? Now, not a bad idea. this is a dollar. You know, I got this this big old spoon. Pretty excited. You know, this big spoon. You know,
Is that a cat litter thing?
I don't know what the no. This was in the food section at the dollar store. So, you know, I like the holes. You know, and you know, hit it with an airbrush or some inks and see what happens. You can even use this to you know, when you flock a board, you can use both of these items, both $1, and you can use them to, you know, when you shake them, right? When you flock, put the fake grass all over your terrain board.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to do it.
and then if you hook the board up to something electrical, be careful with it, but you can get the grass to stand up on end.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is a fun one. I don't know what this is for.
Potato masher.
Maybe, is that what it is? Oh my God, gentlemen, he's a genius. Okay. So I thought about now again, safety first, children. But you can like heat this up if you want and use it to make like big sewer grates in foam. Kind of a fun idea, or maybe
How much
paint
was
it.
that?
This was $1.
I'd cut it
$1.
off. Why don't you cut it? Cut the
Because
handles off.
Like
Then you have a nice shiny metal sewer grate.
Yeah, but I don't want to keep buying them. Come on!
At $1?
Yeah, I don't want that.
How many sewer grates are you making that are CD size?
All of them.
Oh,
I like an efficient sewer system. I don't know how you live your life on the western side of the state, but okay. Elite west side of the Michigan people. I'm kidding. I love you people. We have fun. Whatever. Okay. Those were okay. Let's see. Oh. Something came in the mail for me. Should we see what it is? I know it's Warhammer related.
I didn't know it was unboxing.
Oh yeah. This is. Let's see what we got. Oh boy. Ooh.
Ooh, that new bag, the Wuhan air. You got some of that Wuhan air.
No. This is. I'm pretty sure this was an eBay bid because I've been bidding a lot.
okay. He still came from Wuhan, probably.
No. I think his name was Chuck.
Okay.
A lot of plastic.
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
that
I
a
already.
dwarf?
Yeah, it is. I know what it is.
Yeah, I know.
The cup. I think I paid $10.
Really? If that's the model I think it is, that thing is worth more than 10.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so it's a built Big Mech in Mega Armor with the teleporty blast. You don't see people use them very often, but they're pretty cool because they can like instantly slay things. But it's also a Mega Knob in Mega Armor. But
It's like a 1 in 36 chance that it instantly kills something, right?
Yeah, but I think it's a really cool model, and I wanted to paint it.
I mean, I'm not downplaying that. A 1 in 36 chance to just jump into a Riptide and insta kill it is still good.
Chance I'd like to take.
Hi, I'm here. You know, just smash into it. But yeah, so I think that was like a $10 purchase. Guy threw in shipping and handling. I like my eBay bids, guys. I like to get on there. I like to mix it up. I like to source models. Little bit of model rescue. You know, I just got an orphanage of models. But let's go into so what I'm gonna do is now Brandon touched on this earlier. Look, it's like a cross.
He's gonna mash some potatoes.
No, it's like poor man's like what's that game with the bird? It's badminton. These are poor man badminton. But anyways, what I'm gonna do is we have an Instagram page. Not a lot of people know about it. I'm gonna test these bad boys out, and I'm gonna upload photos so you guys can see the results. Cause I've got the weekend off. I'm living life, and I've got a. We get some belly action there. Oh, look out! I got me some specimens to try this stuff on. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Go tear it up. Okay. All right. So let's move on to move on to the next segment. Do you want to do this next segment? Can we do the next segment? Yeah. Oh, how are we doing on time, Brando?
Oh, you are the captain of the spirit ship. I'm gonna let you
Oh.
ride this however you want to go.
Oh, I'm the captain.
I'm officially along for the ride.
Is Tom Cruise here? Or not Tom Cruise? What's that guy's name from Private Ryan?
I don't.
Oh, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
We got the wrong Tom.
Go down. Oh, I need to go all the way down. All the way down. All the way. All right, hold on. I know this is unprofessional, but I'm using a $3 tripod from Walmart. So, don't you ever shake your head at me.
I wouldn't expect anything less from the ballin' on the budget guy to spend
Oh, God.
$1 on the potato masher, but also $1 on the tripod.
I know, what is life? We don't know what life is. Don't look at me. All right. Can you see the table? Can you see my hands?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
your hands are fine.
Oh.
Beautiful hands.
Okay, cool.
So big.
So, yes, they are. All right. So let's break out the calculator. All right. So the purpose of this session is, and I know we had a session where we talked about, the painting station, which you can see in the distance, that I spent, $200 to $300 putting together, right? Something like that. But I thought about someone who's just getting into the hobby, and we're not gonna beat around the bush. Warhammer 40K is an expensive hobby, but it's expensive, but it's an enjoyable one, and we do it because we love it. So let's. What I wanted to focus on was figuring out a way to set up a painting and prep station that can A, be purchased for no more than $20, and B, you can pick it up and move it. It's transportable, because it, like I said, you can see in the corner, I've dedicated a corner of my house to the painting station. So this is the idea. So let's start off. Let's get right into it. And you guys everybody watching, get your pencils and papers out. We're gonna do a little accounting math to make sure I didn't go over budget. That's why the calculator is here, so that we can do Okay. All right. So let's start with this. Organization is key. Beautiful. Can you see that? No? Cool. Good. I'm already winning the day. Where's that?
So that organizer, is that a office organizer? Is that for spoons and forks? What?
Who knows? It was $1 at the dollar store. So who knows? Who knows, man? Who cares? Who cares? All I know is that it doesn't break when I slam it on the ground. It doesn't smell like toxic, Chinese chemicals. So that means the dog can lick it. Heck, I think even Peaches might be able to sniff it. How's it taste? Good? Good job. Sorry, co-pilot here had to help out. Okay.
Is Peaches your official food taster to make sure you're not poisoned?
No, that's Cream. She's the one that taste tests the honey turkey when I open up the lunch meat.
Oh, good.
All right. So let's see. So our organizational space is at $1. So punch that into the calculator. We got $1 on the table, right?
0 plus $1. Boom.
Yeah.
$1.
$1.
I'm still there. I'm still following.
Oh, good stuff. Okay. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't really care because it's my house. But if you start chopping up models, breaking out the knives and whatnot, and you scratch your significant other's nice tabletop, countertop, whatever the heck, you're going to be losing some weight when they chase you around the yard,
I'm on my 4th coffee table. I know.
Yeah. So this right here, little paddle cutting board, has a handle, $1 out the gate. Up to $2. You can sit it right here. You're in the one thing I don't have, and I couldn't find them because I don't know. I wasn't in that kind of that headspace. Was you're gonna want just like a rubber band to rubber band this all together so you can put it in the closet. Okay. So where we at? We're at what? $2, right? Oh my God, we gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I keep on my game. My budget's important here, Brando.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do some big spending. Okay. We got a micro flush cutter. Now you see these Citadel sells them for like $10 or $12. It's the ones that you can that you use to get real close. Let's get in. Yeah. That you use to get real close to like you use it to get real close up on the model. You know, so you don't have to have the white marks.
You get the dollar store?
No, this is a Walmart special.
Oh, my bad.
So this is this was hold on, I'm grabbing the receipt. Hold on.
We have to be official AF here. Only, only the most official data.
You don't even know. You don't even know. All right. So at the top, $3.97. Well, that makes sense because it's a specialty tool. Okay, so 3.97. We're not doing sales tax. Don't get specific, Brando. Don't get specific. Okay. I heard Brando doing the math in his head.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. The smoke started coming out my ears.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I heard it. Okay. So another thing here. What are we at? We're at $5.97. That's not bad. We've got 3 pieces of the puzzle right here. Not bad. So one of the other things a lot of people don't realize is, you know, especially with resin, when you snip pieces off, you can't really just cut them off. You know, that's a good way to cut your fingers or break a blade. So, you know, just for $1 here, picked up a pack of multi-grain sandpaper that can be cut and sized to your purpose. Heck, you can even take a little tape, maybe tape it to like the end of a pencil and use that as like a file. So that's what we're up to. What? $6.97. Okay. Ooh, big spender. Okay. Now this is for the old men in the crowd or the people who like to do detail work. Okay. Magnifying glass. Okay. It's not lighted. It's nothing special.
Would you put that on a $3 tripod to use, or?
No, I would hire a specialist like you to come over and install it. So
I just hold on to it for you.
Yeah, you just hold on.
$20 is $20.
No, minimum wage, and you can't unionize. Okay.
Oh, it sounds like a deal.
I know you only get.
I pay for my own gas.
No, you have to pay for that. It's a contract job. So that's $1, right? So we're up to $7.97, and then you know me, I love to organize my space. Got these little fancy little totes, right? These little totes. A 3-pack is $1, and we'll break them open right now, right? Put all sorts of stuff in them. Watch this. Uh-oh, look. Now my contrast paints are sorted. Oh, no. And then, oh, really? I need to paint some towel models?
Remember when I was talking about yelling, Nick, earlier in the...
Yes. Good thing you checked.
Boom.
Look,
Perfect. I watched that soundbite.
I've sorted my towel models for painting. Okay. All right. So what's that? What is that? We're up to what? $8.97?
I completely trust you. Whatever you say.
Okay. $8.97.
Sounds good to me.
What else we got? Oh yeah, this is. Now I don't really like these because I like to get into it. I like to get into my painting. I like to get weird. But some people, Butters, likes to use these. We got your.
Really?
Yeah, we got your rubber gloves, so you don't get paint all over your hands. You know, they're reusable. They're medium, which is probably going to be too big for me. I've got weird sized hands. That's $1. So right now.
Medium was too big for you?
Yeah, I got weird hands.
Oh, okay.
They're like sausages.
It's a hot question just came in, Matt. Hot question, right for you.
Okay.
Why do you like orcs? Why does Matt like orcs?
Oh, I know what the answer should be.
I told him to buckle up. I told him don't go there, but they went there. So
I like a good underdog, or in any genre, whether it be Lord of the Rings.
Disappointed.
Well, you didn't let me finish.
I texted you the answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't work for you. Let's see what his nonsense is.
I think that's what we were looking for.
Oh, I mean, is the limiter on?
It is.
Is it? Okay, well, we might have to open the window so I don't blow my irons up. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and preemptively turn him down a little bit.
Alright, the neighbors are outside having a barbecue.
I have a feeling of where this is going.
Welcome. Have a nice day. Alright, so I like to scream that at tournaments, and I usually do it while dancing and belly bumping strangers.
Using the rage box.
That's not allowed anymore, but and then I like the ability to, especially in 40K, I like the ability, like the Torox model, right? That one that the Imperial Guard elite troops use. I like the ability that I can take that and make it into a truck, and no one will judge me, question me, or anything. I like to mod stuff. I like to convert. I like to sit there and just make something that shouldn't be into something that should be. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like that, and I like I said, I like orcs across all spectrums. You know, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. So I'm an orc boy through and through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I know. I thought you'd appreciate that. That's fine. That's good. All right, so let's keep going because I got the big one, and a lot of people don't realize this. I know a couple of our hardcore players are gonna cringe when I show this, but you know, whatever. So look at this beauty. Look at this. Okay, look at that. Look at all them brushes. Look at them all. Okay, and this. How much do you guys think this cost?
I'm gonna guess
Probably
$1, Tom.
Okay, this is our big ticket item. This was $8.47, which isn't bad for brushes that you're gonna beat the crap out of, right?
Oh yeah, those are glue brushes all day.
Terrain brushes.
Yeah. No, I use them for dry brushes because they actually absorb paint really well, and you can
See, I think you made a mistake. You ever see the dollar sample brushes at Lowe's? They're like 3 inches wide. Perfect for dry brush and terrain.
Okay. What if I told you those little brushes in there I can do detail work with?
Well, I believe that.
Okay. All right. So listen here, Sassy McSasserson. Okay. All right. So we are at 18.44. We're close. We're close. What? Oh my goodness! What else did
Close
I
to
spend
what?
on? To $20. That was my goal.
I got you.
Brandon, he just doesn't pay attention.
It's never. Yeah.
We just gotta get his ears checked. That's all. I love you too. All right, and then I don't know if you guys use these, but I like using them on terrain and stippling. The little foam brush, just a little foam brush. They absorb real quick. It's good for washes when you want to just So these are like
Good for window frames too.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Yeah. So like the thick one I think was like 50 cents. 50. And then the little one was 25 plus 0.25. I'm at 19.
Ooh, you're just under.
I know. I mean, that's good. So my goal was to do it for $20 and under. So we have something that you can throw into a shoebox. I mean, rip this bad boy open. Got that. Put it in like that. And put that in the closet. And when you're ready to go, you can take out your space, put it down, set up a lamp, go to town, and then nobody can yell at you for leaving your stuff out, right? Because you're able to put it back together. I just realized look how long the handles are on this. Holy cow. We can do social distancing makeup with this. Holy cow. I'll have to break these down. Yeah, so that was I hope I wasn't too hyper for you guys, but I got really excited. I got up early one day and went shopping for all this stuff, so I was waddling around in Walmart singing to myself and picking this stuff out so that we could show people how to just, I don't know. Even because, think about it, you know, a lot of this stuff is in short supply, you know, because of COVID. And some things are opening back up, but a lot of things that we've taken for granted aren't going to be readily available, especially, you know, with people getting brand new. You know, we're going to be okay because we've, you know, been in the hobby for a while and we, you know, stockpile stuff and hoard stuff because that's just the way 40K players work. But for someone fresh into the hobby, you know, pickings might be a little bit slim.
Yeah,
and, you know,
hard.
we, you know, as Team Bad Decisions, we got to be there for people to make sure that, be there for people to make sure that.
Shiny.
What's shiny?
Shiny. So, all right. Well, do we have any other topics to get through today, or is that everything?
I mean, I don't. I am so tired right now, guys. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Well, I think one last thing before we kind of wrap it up. A question was brought up during the board topic, but it's kind of been sidelined. When you start, what's the kind of basis of design from a display board from idea to finished product? So, like, do you do a sketch first, and then you go buy foam, and then from the foam you work on it to the finished product, or do you just find it better to just go straight from idea to buy stuff to like wing it and then?
So it depends on the tournament, I guess. So for RTTs, the board, I'll have an idea in my head and I just start going. But for things like the coffin, the sarcophagus, the morgue, those are all drawn up. I even go all the way down to drawing like structure first, and then I draw the foam that goes on top of it on a separate page. So kind of do like a layover thing. And I kind of go from there. I always like to think, like I have certain objectives in my head. First would be structural. Second would be how am I going to transport this? Third, you know, like third, what is my? Because again, my signature kind of is the reveal. So all of those kind of pieces go into me coming up with an idea. And I always tell people, don't be afraid to fail. The sarcophagus that year initially was, and it's a cool concept. I just couldn't get it to work. It had a grandfather clock, and it had like this library that was going around it. I even bought brand new shelves. I got a grandfather clock from somebody at a garage sale. Tore it apart, repainted, put casters on the thing, and Marcus took one look at it and goes, he leans over, and I'm like, yeah, you can't see those models that well, can you? He goes, no. And that was it. That whole thing went out the window, and we got a sarcophagus. So, again, don't be afraid to fail and try again, because you don't always get it right the first try.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that does wrap up all our topics, but we didn't talk about at least the most important thing, which is you guys. At the end of every show, I'd like to show some support for the people that support us, because we couldn't do this without everybody in chat and everybody supporting us. So since the last show, we've had 1 sub and 4 new follows. I butcher every time. Makari Thraka, thank you for the sub. You rock. Species 5618, Broken 1166, M Tells 1, and Chernos O Square 6. All of you guys followed. You guys are all amazing people. So again, without you guys' help, without your follows, your likes, your subscribes, we couldn't be doing this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and have a good Saturday.
Okay, keep an eye to look at those Instagram test photos. You know, I'm gonna do that probably tonight.
And after the show, we'll be throwing up not only this show, just in case you came in halfway through and wanted to catch the beginning of it, but the last week's content in reruns. So feel free to stick around and watch some of that as well if you want. Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace, guys.
Thank you. Bye. We still alive?
Your audio's not. One sec.